Hello, we are live. Yes. Welcome to Leadership Dolce, where I am serving up sweet morsels of wisdom every Monday night at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, right here on my Facebook business page, Newborn Evolution. I'm Joanne Newborn, certified lifestyle and leadership coach with Newborn Evolution. And yesterday was my 2-year anniversary of Newborn Evolution. And I just want to say that I'm grateful for all of you because Newborn Evolution would not exist without all of you. And it's been a really wild 2-year journey, and it's moving much faster than I ever expected it to, and it's moving forward much faster than I ever expected it to. It's sort of taken on a life of its own, and I'm grateful for everyone who's been on this journey, along on the journey with me. So I just want to thank you so much for being here because you know, it would just be a thought in my mind without all of you. So I'm just so grateful that people come and show up, and that we have this beautiful connection. So I just want to say, Newborn Evolution started as a place for me to just have a blog so that I could write about the workings of our mind and higher knowledge and things that were just really of interest to me. And then I began to get my articles published, and I began coaching, and I began to shape Newborn Evolution into a place for people to come to learn about leadership culture and the ability to have the lifestyle that you desire. So it's really taken on this beautiful shape. And so I could go much, much deeper into all of this and how lifestyle and leadership are connected and why the two, but I'll save that for another time because I really wanted to talk about a post that I put up last week, and it was a quote by Friedrich Nietzsche. And the quote says, "The text has disappeared under the interpretation." So this quote is a great reminder. And what is happening today has all sorts of interpretations, right? The events that are happening today have many different interpretations, and each person and each side and each movement has its own interpretation of the event or the events that are happening. So if you want to look just at the event itself, I have to say honestly, we are not in a position to have a real interpretation because we were not there. And so the event takes on a meaning which people have assigned to it. And the event represents a bigger movement. And in essence, the event has no meaning other than being a symbol for a movement, which has been going on for a very long time. So do you see how we interpret events and we assign a meaning to them? And so our minds do that, right? Our minds do that to feel safe. If we can give meaning to something, then we can say, you know what? I know what this is, and I know how to act in this circumstance. However, what if we remained neutral to both sides? And what if we observe with non-judgment and compassion? Wow, that's difficult to do, right? So tonight I wanted to talk about both non-judgment and compassion, but I'm only going to have time to talk to one of the two because they're both really big topics. And I'd like to start with non-judgment and how it's one of the two biggest elements to becoming a great leader, and how this element instills trust from others in you. So, we are actually judging others every moment of every day. And this is actually a chapter in my free ebook, The 5 Surprising Secrets to Skyrocket Your Success. And I put the link, I will put the link in the post for this. So if you want to get a free copy of it, you can just pick it up, because this is one of the chapters on non-judgment, which is so important. So I just want to read you a quote from Matthew. It's 7:1-2. So this is actually from the Bible about judgment. And the quote is, "Do not judge, or you will be judged. For you will be judged by the same judgment with which you judge others. And it will be measured out to you with the same measure that you have used." So, hey, Susan, awesome. Thank you so much for being here. I'm so happy you're here, and I'm so happy you said hi. So anyway, this was a really great quote from the Bible on judgment. And so what I wanted to talk about is how our minds are running on autopilot for most of the day, whether we realize it or not. And it's telling us things all day long. Things like, it's time to get up, make the coffee, that woman's dress is hideous, ew, what was she thinking, she needs a makeover, how could that crime happen, what's wrong with people, my mother's driving me crazy. And all of these things are running through our minds all the time, and we don't even realize that these are being fired off all throughout the day. It's so unconscious. And so we've already made judgments in our minds about all these different things that these thoughts are firing off. And so most of these thoughts were most likely put in place when we were children, and they were formed by the opinions of our culture, our society, our personal experiences, and we tend to emulate the opinions of our parents, our families, and our friends. And that's how they get into our minds to begin with. And then they're there, and then they become our voices that are shooting off all the time. So there's nothing wrong with this. I don't want anybody to think that there's anything wrong with this. This happens to everybody. And we all do it, and it's done automatically. And I'm sure there are times when you're sitting around with your friends and you're having really strong conversations and opinions about our judgment of others. For example, pandemics, protests, race, wars, the refugee situation, our current president, politics. I mean, all of these things. And again, there is nothing wrong with sitting around and having opinions about these things and having strong opinions about these things and sharing them. But it's when we get to a point when they are absolute and they are finite that it becomes limiting to our growth potential and actually to our own peace of mind. And it's also limiting our career growth potential. I'm sure you know the person at work that always has to have the loudest and the strongest opinion, and they always have to like prove themselves right. And you know, the environment that they are creating is not a productive environment. It's actually a stagnating environment. So I want to share something with you. As soon as we take steps to stop judging others, and I'm going to say that this is a difficult thing to accomplish, and it really does take practice, and I'm going to show you how to start to do this. But as soon as we take steps to stop judging others, we stop judging ourselves. Wow. And the quote that I mentioned really is to that saying, um, the same ruler by which we judge others is the same ruler by which we judge ourselves. So however big our judgments of others are, that's how massively we are judging ourselves. And you would probably be shocked to realize that you would never say some of the things that you say to yourself to another person, another human being, and yet we say them to ourselves all the time. So a while back, one of my mentors said to take the entire day and not judge anyone. So, first of all, this is difficult to do because A, you need to know when you're judging, right? You really have to notice this, and because it's so ingrained in us. And then you have to hit pause and observe that you've been judging. And so for me, it became a little bit of a game. So I decided to try it. So that morning, my alarm went off, and I immediately looked at my phone and I started reading the news stories. And I read this news story about this woman who threw a chair at her mother. And I thought, oh my God, what was she thinking? What's wrong with her? Who throws a chair at their mother? That's a horrible person. That's a horrible thing to do. And then I hit pause. I said, wait a minute, Joanne, you don't know anything about this woman. You don't know anything about the situation. You don't know anything other than this article that you're reading. So I decided to just leave the story at that. It was just a story. And on my way to work that morning in New York City, I caught myself making all these judgments about the commuters along the way, right? This woman's dress, that guy's shoes, the person walking their dog too close to me, the building superintendent who was washing the sidewalk and splashing me, and on and on. And I had all these really harsh judgments. And each time I caught myself, I hit pause and I asked myself, like, why am I judging these people? They're just like me. They're just going off to work for the day. Why am I having all these judgments? And I hit pause and I just stopped. And the more often that I hit pause and stopped myself from judging, the more my own internal voice silenced. It was amazing. This tightness in my chest opened up, and I could breathe more easily. And I felt free, like the world was my oyster because no one was stopping me. But the thing was, the only one that was stopping me in the first place was me, right? It was me all along. So when we can observe without judgment, people feel this, and then they trust you. They trust you when they're not being judged. When you aren't judging them, they're not afraid to speak up. And they're not afraid to voice their own opinions. And they aren't afraid to hear your opinions either. It's like this nice give and take as soon as we remove the judgment. And yet, when we judge and we put out that energy, well, right away, people can feel it. Even if you don't say anything, they can feel that energy of being judged. And people start to put walls up to protect themselves from being judged. And this is where communication breaks down, right? Walls go up, communication breaks down. Do you see how that works? And it's all about removing that element of judgment. And then all of a sudden the communication opens up again. It's really incredible. So I would like to give you all a homework assignment. I would like you to take one day, and I'd like you to catch yourself judging. Like I said before, we all do it. And then hit pause. And then catch yourself judging yourself. And hit pause. And don't think anything after that. Don't think anything. Just hit pause and observe. And if you'd like to share your findings or your feelings around this exercise, I would love it if you shared it in the thread here. I'd love to, kick up a conversation about that. And I want to ask if anyone has any questions right now. I'm just going to open it up for questions in the next couple of minutes. Hey, Lisa. I love when you're here. It's so great seeing you. Any questions? Okay, well, I'll take a look and see if there's any in a second. So, just in general, remember if you have any questions or any topics that you want me to cover, you can always leave them in the thread, or you can email me at joanne@newbornevolution.com. If you have a matter that's a little more personal and you don't want your name involved, that's totally fine. I'll make it anonymous. And I do have the link to the 5 surprising secrets to skyrocket your success, that free ebook, if you want to grab that. And I'm really excited because I've been doing my leadership lounge for the last 2 months, and my July session, which is July 9th, only has 1 seat left for July. So it is on Thursday, July 9th at 6 p.m. I also have the link in here with this Facebook Live in case someone wants to grab the last seat, or if you want to learn more about it. It's 2 hours. I teach about a half an hour lesson, and then I open it up. I only take 5 people, so I open it up and everybody gets about 15 to 20 minutes of one-to-one personal coaching with me. And I only tape the lesson. So it's a safe space. It's a great place to just share and bring any triggers or challenges that you're having. We've had a great time the last 2 months, so I'm super excited that there's just 1 spot left. And again, I just want to thank you all for making Newborn Evolution what it is. And it's 2 years old, and I'm just so excited. And I love you all, and please stay safe and stay well, and love each other. Okay, thanks for being here. Ciao. Have a great night.